If you've listened to an episode of Rants and Reviews before, you may have heard us talk about the Darker Shade of Magic series by Victoria VE Schwab. Stick around because we're talking about that and more in today's episode. What are you currently reading?
I have just recently picked up Girl Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis, and this is a non-fiction book for our Bloggers Bookshelf April book club theme, which was non-fiction.
Yep.
Yeah, and I read her other book called Girl Wash Your Face a couple months ago and really enjoyed that, so I thought this was a good idea to pick this one up for the book club month.
Yep.
But I'm literally like halfway through the first, it might even be the introduction, not even the first chapter. So, yeah, that's happening. But that is all. I recently got out a couple books from the library that I have to read before I need to send them back because they're in high demand at the moment. One of them is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus.
Yes, I want to read that.
Yeah, so which is... I think we decided it's not in any way like related to Two Can Keep a Secret, which is the one that we got in the Penguin turning.
Okay, I was going to say, because if you've read that in the Superproof, have you now got spoilers for that
no,
one?
No, I don't think so. So we got the first chapter in the Superproof, the Penguin Teen Superproof, for other book, Two Can Keep a Secret. But I'm pretty sure that they're just two separate books.
Okay, cool.
Well, I'm going to read this one first, just in case. And then the other one I got out from the library, which was in that same Superproof teaser type thing we got, is Love, Lie, Repeat by Catherine Greer. So, yeah, I will let you know when I read those.
Cool.
What they're like.
Cool.
What are you currently reading?
I have literally this morning just finished Every Breath by Nicholas Sparks.
Mm-hmm.
Finally checking off my last year's review copies.
Well done.
Getting on track.
Yeah.
It's great. Which was actually really good, and I rated it 5 stars, and I cried, and it's just a Nicholas Sparks book.
Yeah.
You cry, you laugh, you feel for the characters so much, and you want to get invested in their lives.
And then you watch the movie when they make one, because they will.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Also, in the back of the thing, they had, all of his books on, the covers, and I'm like, I thought I'd read a lot of Nicholas Sparks books, but apparently not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he has, 25 or something, and I've read, 6 of them.
What? I actually don't think I've read any of them.
I had I think it was around the time that I had my John Green phase, I also had my Nicholas Sparks phase.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I read quite a lot then. And I've read the 2 that have come out recently. I say recently, but in the last 4 years or so.
Yeah. Have you read See Me?
No.
Okay, so that was one that I got a couple years ago, but still have not read. But that was a recent release when I got it.
Yeah. No, I haven't. I've read most of the ones that have been turned into movies.
Yeah. Nice.
Because at that time I liked to read the book, watch the movie, read the book, watch the movie, read the book, watch the movie.
Yeah.
Although most of them I'd already watched the movie before I read the book.
Yeah. Sometimes there's just no avoiding it.
Yep. Sometimes you just don't even realise there's an actual book.
Yeah, exactly.
My favourite Nicholas Sparks book... Well, my favourite Nicholas Sparks book is Dear John because I really like the movie.
Sure.
I don't know if I actually really like the book, but I really like the movie, so it's just automatically I say it's my favourite Nicholas Sparks book.
Yeah.
But, yes. I've just finished that, and I'm about to pick up The Binding again.
Oh, yes.
So I'm finished that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I've also restarted the audiobook of Mythos.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I was just I was scrolling through all the audiobook things available, and I think it was available, so I put this on hold, and then it finally came through last week, and I was like, you know what? I've got nothing else. Let's just listen to it again.
Yeah. Nice.
I will learn more.
I still haven't kind of made it through that book yet, but we will get there eventually.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all I'm reading.
Great.
I'm currently reading one book, which is great. which is an audiobook, but, you know,
Yeah.
unlike me.
Yeah, that is very unlike you. Before we kick off the episode, I just want to do like real quick overview. I'll tell you about Sarah J. Maas, the author event yesterday.
Yes, do it.
So the month of May, podcast listeners, in Auckland is Auckland Writers Festival. And Sarah J. Maas has been doing her Kingdom of Ash world tour this year. Actually, she probably started last year, let's be honest. Which is the last book in her Throne of Glass series. And Auckland was her last stop, so she came a bit earlier. So this was in April. So she's here for the Auckland Writers Festival, even though she's early. But anyway, so I went along, and it was really cool. Just wanted to say like a couple of things about like some of the things she said. So her last book is like the biggest book out of the series. Kind of like Harry Potter, you know, it starts off like small with Philosopher's Stone, and then by the end it's like absolutely colossal. The Kingdom of Ash book had to be cut down quite a bit, and then when it was all finished, and it was like 2 days before it went to the printing press to get it, you know, all savvy and actual book-like, the glue wasn't strong enough to hold all the pages, because it was like over 1,000 pages, like just over 1,000 pages, and the glue wasn't strong enough, so they had like this mega problem.
That's too long.
Yeah, it is. It's too long, Sarah.
1,000 pages. Yeah. That's gigantic.
Yeah. So they had to, instead of cutting bits out of the book, because they only had like 2 days to go before it went to the printer, they did things like made the font slightly smaller and, you know, make the margins smaller. So they kind of like fiddled around with the structure of the like physical structure of the book rather than the content of the book, which I thought was really cool. So it's still like really long. Don't know if it's quite 1,000 pages. I think they managed to get it just under 1,000 to make the glue work, which I thought was hilarious. She was like she was quite emotional at the event, I think, because it was her last Throne of Glass kind of tour spot. But just for this series, she kind of indicated that there might be more like Throne of Glass stuff kind of coming out, including a card game which comes out in October, which will be so there's going to be a card game for the Throne of Glass series, and I'm very intrigued as to how that would work and how that would play out. Because I feel like a lot of games that have been based on books are actually based on the movie versions of the book. So, like, you've got Harry Potter, and then you've got all these Harry Potter games, but most of the, like, the visual stuff and what the game looks like is based on movie stuff rather than book stuff. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Obviously, I need to read the entire series, and then we can play the game on, like...
We can play the game.
Podcast.
Okay, season 3 coming at you.
Season 3, I think you're really, your idea of how fast I can read.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I was just thinking, like, October, like, how far away is that?
I don't know. How many books were there, series?
So Kingdom of Ash is, like, book 6, but there are 7 books. But it's kind of weird because it's, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. I think it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it has a book called Tower of Dawn, and that's, like, from a different character's perspective. Like, it kind of follows his story, I think, because I haven't read that one yet, and I think that one fits between what would be like the normal 4 and 5, but I think that becomes number 5, and then number 6 and 7 anyway. So there's quite a few. So you'd have to.
And I still haven't started 1, even though I've had it since Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. So that game is happening, so it'll be interesting to see what that's like. The other things she kind of talked about were, like, growing up, she really wanted to write, like, kick-ass female characters, because she'd always watch things like Indiana Jones and, like, Star Wars and stuff, and always pretend that she was Indiana and, like, Luke Skywalker and things, but she wanted to write, like, female characters, and that's why, like, both her, in her, you know, her 2 series, the female characters are real, you know, kicking butt and can do things without men.
Yeah, total badasses.
Which is super cool. There was a lot of discussion about how she picked her names, which came up quite a lot, because, you know, we've talked about...
Yeah, she has weird names.
Yeah, weird names, and we've talked about, like, the pronunciation of some of them, like Rysand and Feyre and things like this. But there's a whole bunch in the Throne of Glass series that are also very, like, questionable.
Not to just ruin it there, but you totally mispronounced Rysand.
Yeah, see? Exactly. Exactly. And because there was a girl sitting next to me at the event and we were talking exactly about this name and she's like, so how do you say this name? And I was like, oh yeah, Rysand. And she's like, I know, right? And I was like, yes. And then Sarah kept saying like Rysand and I was like, no, that's not right. And a couple of other ones. And yeah, the girl next to me was like, we had many, like, that's not right. I know they're your characters, but...
Is it kind of like, if everybody pronounces it Rysand, is it going to be kind of like the GIF in that the creator of the GIF called it GIF, but everybody calls it a GIF?
Yeah, probably. Well, I hope so, because I like Rysand better than Rysand.
Yeah, Rysand is so much better than Rysand.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you think about it, it's Rhys and Sand, so it's Rysand sounds like, you know, logical, but you don't read it like that.
You don't read it like that, no. She talked about kind of how her characters ended up together and whether she was kind of planning that from the beginning and all this sort of stuff, which that was really cool as well. She also said that A Court of Mist and Fury was one of her favourites to write, which just made me want to like keep reading that series as well, like really actually read that. Yeah. So the last thing I just want to comment on is she talked a little bit about her new series coming out, which is end of January 2020. And it's the Crescent City series, but the first one's called House of Earth and Blood. And she kind of talked a little bit about it, and not too much, but because she can't give anything away, obviously.
Yeah.
But how it's going to be contemporary fantasy, which is like fantasy, she said. So it was like taking the Throne of Glass world or the Akatar world and then fast forwarding like 200 years into the future where they all have cell phones. You know, that sort of world that she's creating. So it's kind of like fantasy, and that there'll be like supernatural stuff like fairies and whatever, but there'll be technology as well, which it's a weird kind of concept.
So kind of like Twilight.
Yeah, kind of like Twilight, I guess. Yeah, but like way cooler because it's Sarah J. Maas, you know?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, like modern conveniences in a fantasy land, and I'm excited for it. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun.
I swear probably a lot of things could have been solved in the Court of Thorns and Roses series if they had a cell phone.
Exactly, and that's what she was saying. Like, she said she's really actually enjoying writing still a fantasy world, but actually just being able to, like, call somebody up if she needs to and not send, like, pigeon post or whatever. You know, so that was really cool. Yeah, so if she's ever in your neck of the woods, podcast listeners, go and have a listen to her. It was good fun. Yeah.
That sounds great.
And that's it.
That's it? On with the rest of the show?
Rest of the show!
I feel like we just want to talk about Sarah J. Maas for like the rest of the...
I know. Well, we can do a whole episode on her once we've both finished both series.
Yeah.
Maybe season 10.
I feel slightly sorry for VE Schwab for taking over half of the episode talking about someone else, but
my bad.
We love you too. That's why we're dedicating a whole episode to you, minus the 10 minutes of...
Well, she's in the Gold Coast at the moment, and I'm like, just come over here. You're not that far away, Victoria.
No.
Anyway.
If you come to us, we'll talk about you more.
So, Victoria VE Schwab, who writes under two names.
Yeah, yesterday I found out that these were actually adult books.
Yeah, so she writes under VE Schwab for her, young adult and adult fiction, and then Victoria Schwab for her, middle grade books.
Yeah. I didn't realise it was adult. I just always thought it was YA.
Yeah.
But hey... I read adult books now, guys.
Yeah, you do. So grown up.
So grown up. I'm almost 25 and I'm finally reading adult books.
It's just a phase. It won't last. We're back to YA in no time.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, so she's actually written so many books. I only have 5 of her books, but there are many, and I've read quite a lot of them, but not all of them, because she had a lot of earlier stuff that I kind of feel like I'm now definitely too old for. Yeah, but so I've read the Shades of Magic series and also the first book in her Villains series. And I've also read the Monsters of Verity, which I think might have more books in the future, but I don't know if she's writing them at the moment because there's only 2 out. But I think because she's got so many other big projects on at the moment that it's kind of taken a back burner.
Yep.
But I thought I'd just quickly run through a couple of the series that I've read and then we can get into A Dark Shade of Magic.
Sure, go for it.
Because fun times. Okay, so the Monsters of Verity series is under Victoria Schwab, and it's This Savage Song and Our Dark Duet. And it's kind of like these two characters who are like in prominent families of a city that's divided, and there's like monsters, like real monsters, and like curses, and
as
like,
opposed to not real monsters.
no, like, yeah, like, I don't know, metaphorical monsters? I don't know. Yeah, and anyway, the two characters kind of, like, want to, like, be higher up in the family on one side, and then the other one doesn't want to be, and then they get together, and it's like, yeah, they kind of just, struggles. Lots of struggles. But it was really cool. I really enjoyed This Savage Song. But yeah, I don't know if they're under Victoria Schwab, but I don't know if they're middle grade. They're definitely more YA, I reckon. So I don't know how she actually names her books.
I feel like I read yesterday that she's Victoria for all but adult.
Oh, okay.
So
well, that would make more sense.
But
yeah,
that was just on Goodreads for some random person, so it might not be right, but...
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, that would explain a bit more, I guess. So she also wrote the Archived series. So this is one I haven't read, but it sounds really cool. The little description, like the short version on Goodreads is, imagine a place where the dead rest on shelves like books. Each body has a story to tell, a life scene in pictures only librarians can read. The dead are called histories, and the vast realm in which they rest is the archive. And it just sounds like fun. Yeah, so the two books in that...
It kind of gives me the Binding vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that kind of books and people and stuff, stories.
People's memories and things.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
Those two books are called The Archive and The Unbound. Yeah, so I want to read those at some point. I'll just add it to the list. Her other series that I have read the first of, because there's only one out, is City of Ghosts, which is a Cassidy Black series. So that's a new-ish series. I think that one came out last year, and that's definitely a middle grade book. And it's about Cassidy, and her parents are called the Inspectors, and they're like a somewhat inept ghost hunting team. And they go Scotland, Edinburgh, to kind of film this TV show about the ghosts in Edinburgh and like spooky stuff. But Cassidy can actually see ghosts. And her best friend Jacob is a ghost. And so it kind of follows Cassidy around Scotland. So her and her best friend Jacob, and they meet this girl Lara, who can also see ghosts. And Lara kind of tells Cassidy that they're, or Cass as she's called, like kind of what their job is as people who can see ghosts and stuff like that. So yeah, but despite it like being aimed at a younger generation, so like middle grade, so what's that, like, I don't know, 10 to 13 kind of ish, maybe. Yeah. Like, it was still really...
Way younger than us.
Yeah. It was still a really cute book, and I really liked it, and it's only, like, it's less than 300 pages. The font is huge. There's, like, 10 words on every page. It's so easy. And there's a map in the front.
Well, there you go.
No, it's, my favorite type of book. And the cover is just beautiful. I've possibly shared it before on Instagram, but I will do it again because it is beautiful. I love it. So the second book in that series... Oh, quick sidebar. Cassidy is like a huge Harry Potter fan, and so there's like Harry Potter references all throughout the book, and it's just so enjoyable, and it's really cute. Yeah. So the second...
I've seen a lot of people get annoyed at the amount of Harry Potter references and all the kind of...
Yeah, there were quite a few
child like books, and it's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I like this. This is great. Continue doing it as you please.
Yeah,
as long as you get them correct.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. That's so good. So the second in that series comes out in September this year, and it's called Tunnel of Bones, and they're off to Paris. So I think it's like in the catacombs of Paris.
Yep.
That'll be that. Okay, and then there's the Everyday Angel series, which I haven't read and probably won't. That's definitely middle grade as well. So it's like about a 12-year-old girl, and she is a guardian angel.
Okay.
And then one more series before we get into Shades of Magic series is the Villains series. So this is under VE Schwab. So this is definitely adult. This was really cool. So Vicious came out, I can't remember the date. the year, but it was a while ago, and it was quite a big gap between Vicious and Vengeful, which came out just last year, I think. So I haven't read Vengeful yet. But Vicious is about Victor and Eli, who are like college students, and Eli is really interested in EOs, which is extraordinary people, and Victor is like looking into adrenaline, and they kind of like merge their yearly project ideas together and see if they can combine efforts and actually create someone who has extraordinary abilities. And they succeed, and huzzah, and then it like flashes forward to 10 years, and Victor has just like sprung himself from jail, and he's off to find Eli, who's kind of turned into this kind of villain character. So it's very villainous kind of story, and both characters, you're kind of rooting for Victor a lot of the time because it's kind of told from his perspective, but he's not a good guy. Like, it's definitely a villain heavy story.
This is not what I was expecting.
Yeah, but it was really cool. Like, I remember really enjoying Vicious. Like, not as much as the Shades of Magic series, but definitely very cool. And it was kind of X-Men vibes kind of throughout. Kind of Professor X and Magneto, like, being friends at the beginning and then kind of having this falling out. Yeah, and yeah, like I said, like, none of them are really, like, the good guy. Yeah, it was really interesting. But I think I have to reread Vicious before I read Vengeful, which I think was why I have
the sample of Vicious on my Kindle.
Oh yeah,
to like see if I like it before I buy it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
because I'm trying not to buy things, so I have to test them first.
Yep, not book ban. Yep.
But yes, I haven't started that yet. But that wasn't what I didn't know what it was about. I just knew it was her, and I was like, I'm sure I'll like it, so I'll just download the thing. Yeah, but I didn't know it was about that, and that's interesting.
Yeah, so it was it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. At least according to my review, I really enjoyed it. So it was a couple of years ago. I'm not usually a fan of kind of that flashback style of writing. There's a lot of flashbacks, and then kind of everything kind of happens into the present. But I think it really worked for this book, and it didn't really affect how much I enjoyed it, which was good. Yeah, and so that's all the other books that she's written very, very quickly.
Condensed into like 5 minutes.
Condensed. Yeah, so Shades of Magic.
You can start on something I've actually read.
Yes. I'm back to an actual conversation and not me just blurting out words.
Yes. So, basically, I love the series. I rated it either 9.5 out of 10, 5 out of 5, or 4 out of 5 of each of the books.
Very high.
But I don't know why I like it, because I have no reviews or anything.
That's so annoying, eh? Like, come on past, Sophie. What were you doing?
It's like, why couldn't I have written a full review for these things instead of just a sentence?
Yeah.
Oh well, I do kind of know. And I'm sure once you start talking things, I'm like, yes, that's why!
Yeah, that's why! Those are the reasons!
That's why I love it!
Yeah.
I do recommend it, I just don't know why I recommend it.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that it's all about magic, and I love magic, and... yeah.
It's very, very cool.
Where would you like to start?
Okay. So a little synopsis of A Darker Shade of Magic, maybe? Okay, so this series is about Kel, who is one of the last Antari, which is a rare magician who can travel between parallel worlds. And there are 4 different worlds, and they're kind of all based in London, but it's kind of like a layering onion of worlds. It's an onion London, is what it is. And so there's...
Not all Londons are the same.
No, not all Londons are the same. So there's grey London, which is like dirty and boring and lacking in magic. And
like Earth London, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just your standard London.
Just like your bog standard London. Like, go to London, this is what it would be like. But it's ruled by a mad King George. And then there is Red London, which is where life and magic are like revered, and there's a dynasty who like presides over the empire, and that's where Kel and most of the main characters are from. And then there is White London, which is also got magic in it, but it's ruled over by people who are like murderous, evil people, and it's not good. And then there's the last London is Black London, but nobody's allowed to travel to Black London because it's... I can't remember if like magic got like sucked out of it, or something bad happened with Black London and it was just all
I feel like
bad.
it's
Kind of like a barren wasteland.
yeah, it's like magic took over and that's all that it is now. There's no people or things or anything. It's just magic, and if you go there, you'll die.
Yeah.
It will suck
like that,
all the life out of you to feed itself, kind of thing.
Yeah, so nobody goes to Black London anymore, and so it's, nobody really talks about it. So
I forgot there was 4 Londons for a while until I started writing my notes, and I was like, wait, no, there's the fourth London.
Londons. Yeah. But I love it how one of the characters, Lila, which we'll get to in a minute, she calls them, instead of grey, red, white and black, she calls them Dull London, Kel London, Creepy London, and Dead London, which I think is awesome. Yeah, so Kel is like, he's an adopted prince of Red London, so he's like been adopted into the Marish family, and so that includes Ma and Pa and son Prince Rai, who's a gem of a character. And so Kel lives with them, and the story kind of...
You say Ma and Pa like they're not the king and queen of Red London.
They are king and queen of Red London, but they're also Ma and Pa.
They are, but it's important that they are the king and queen.
King and queen of Red London, yeah. And so the story just kind of follows Kel as he goes and talks to King George, I'm trying to remember back in the year that I read this.
I don't remember what happens in the 2 books.
Yeah, okay, wait.
Really. Other than the main thing.
Okay, so Kel is like the personal ambassador for Red London, and he carries monthly correspondences between the royals of each London.
Yeah,
there we go. Okay, so, but unofficially, he smuggles stuff between the worlds because nobody else can move between them except for Antari, and he's the last one.
The listeners can't see your air quotes.
I know, I just did air quotes, but I also kind of didn't comment on them because I was like, do we talk about that one yet? I don't know. Like, what if we spoil it? And now we have, so that's great.
Well, we have to talk about Holland.
That's
He's
true.
Like you find out about him in like part of the first book. It's fine.
That's true. So in the first one, though, Kel, like, does he smuggle something back, and then anyway, in the first one, he meets Delilah Bard, and she's, like, awesome and kick-ass and wants to have adventures.
They meet because she pickpockets him, doesn't she?
Yes. Yeah, because she's a pickpocket, yeah. And doesn't she steal what he was smuggling? I can't remember.
No, she steals... the stone.
Oh, the stone
which he smuggled for himself, not for like anybody else. But
yeah. That's right.
This is excellent. This is just us recounting what we can remember.
Yeah, this is exactly. Yeah. So the story like follows Kel and Lila and this kind of unfolding plot between Londons of treachery and things like that.
Yep.
But it's very good, and that's just the first one.
Oh, it gets worse from here.
Do
you feel like, obviously I feel like we'd be in Grey London.
Yeah.
And we'd want to be in Red London.
Yes. No doubt about it.
Like, I wonder because, I don't know how I'm phrasing this question. Because it's just London, right? Like, it's not like the entire world is the same in each one. It's just that, like, city.
I think so, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah.
So it's like, if that Grey London is Earth, and if we travel to London, we're in Grey London. We wouldn't travel to Red London then and come to New Zealand, and it's like this whole, like, there wouldn't be a New Zealand.
Red New Zealand, yeah. No, I think it's just London.
Yeah, because I was like, I kind of wonder what, like, my house would look like in Red London, or like, but it wouldn't exist.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the answer. It wouldn't exist. Yeah. So there goes my idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that there's layers of London. That's so cool. Such a great concept. Well done, Victoria. Thank you.
It's just such a unique idea.
And how, because the buildings change, right?
Yeah. Like, the only thing that is the same is the pub.
The pub, yeah.
The pub. So everything around it changes, yeah.
Yes, it's definitely very different. Who's your favourite character? I feel like they're all, like, the main ones are all so excellent in their own ways.
I feel like I just really like all the characters, like, equally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't love anybody, and I don't really hate anybody apart from the Dane twins.
Yeah, except for the baddies.
Like, I don't really even hate Holland.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's like, just everybody is a bit kind of like, I just like them all. Like, maybe if I had to choose, I'd probably choose Delilah.
Yeah.
Just because she's so fab and great, and
She's so fab.
she don't need no man.
No, she doesn't. Click, click, click. My favorite, like, line about her, I can't remember if she says it or if it's, like, said about her, is that she'd rather die on an adventure than live standing still.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yes.
So good. Or she has a conversation with someone, and I can't remember who it was, because I've written it down, but I didn't actually say who she was having a conversation with, so that's not going to be great. But anyway, and she's like, I'm not going to die, she said, not till I've seen it. And the person says, seen what? Her smile widened. Everything. Ah, I love Lila. Yeah, she's great.
I feel like that's either Alucard or Kel.
Yeah, exactly, and I couldn't remember, so.
I've never really been into pirates.
What?
Really? I know.
Have you not seen Pirates of the Caribbean, Sophie?
I have.
I could watch that movie every day.
I like Captain Jack Sparrow, that's about it.
Yeah.
But I don't really do pirates, and if pirates are mentioned in, like, the blurb, I probably wouldn't read it, really.
What?
But then, like, Lila is, like, this excellent pirate, and then Alucard's, like, excellent, and they're my favourite pirates.
Yeah, so he's the captain of the ship.
The Black Spear?
Yeah.
Spire?
Yeah.
Is that it?
And he comes into the series in book 2, doesn't he?
Yes, because that's what Lila
which is A
jumps on
Gathering
the
of Shadows.
ship. Yeah.
That's the other thing that happens in that book. No spoilers, don't worry. So I think, I can't remember if we start with Lila and she's on the pirate ship with Alucard, and then they announce that they're, like, heading for London, and they're, like, joining their Element games, and it's like a international tournament.
Yeah.
International tournament! So does that mean that it's wider than London?
It's wider than London, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the same thing, because if in Country of Light they explore outside of London.
Yeah, but then, like...
But it's not, like, the same map, is it?
Well, I don't know. Like, because if you've got our world, you've got a grey London and the spreading of the world. I'm just, like, if flat worlders will love this.
Maybe it is the same map, it's just not the same cities. Like, London's are the only ones that are called London.
Oh,
so maybe if you travel to New Zealand, it might not necessarily be called New Zealand, but it might be that same kind of island.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Anyway, irrelevant.
Victoria, answer us!
Yeah.
Solve our questions!
If you came to New Zealand, we could ask you.
What would New Zealand look like in Red London?
Yeah.
Well, in
Red World.
Yeah, why is it called Red London? It's like the whole world. I don't know. Continue with what you're saying.
The Element games, which are this tournament where magicians, like, spar using magic, and both Kel and Lila, like, go, like, undercover into the games, eh? They're, like, disguise themselves and both end up being in the tournament. Yeah.
I love that it's not until about halfway through the third book that they find out they were both in there.
Yeah, it takes a while, eh?
Yeah, like, they didn't realise each other were in it, and it was great.
Like, wait a minute. Yeah.
What do you mean you were in it?
I was in it.
What? Yeah, I think the reason I like all the characters is just because of how they're written.
They're written so well, eh?
They're just written so well, and especially in A Country of Light, you get to see, like, all the secondary characters' backgrounds and stuff, and you learn so much more about them, and especially, like, the king and queen, you learn all about, like, their past history and why they act like that, and the queen's mysteriously cool power that she can, like, know exactly what's going on throughout the whole castle by, like, listening. I don't understand what else happening there, but it happened. And
yeah, who is she? Look at her go.
It's not like everything is told by Kel's point of view, and that's all you know is what Kel sees of them. You learn them all, their loves and their hates, and that was very bad English. Their likes and dislikes, and
yeah. Their loves
what
and
they
their
love
hates.
and what they hate, and why they act like a certain way, and the really cute little guard that is just bad at guarding, but also really great at guarding. And
That's right, I forgot about him.
And he's just acting like, in another book, you wouldn't think twice about the guard.
No,
But, like,
you wouldn't.
He's still one of my favourite characters, even though he's just a guard.
What's his name? Can you remember his name?
It's like Hastra or something like that. Hastra.
Yeah.
He's just so adorable. Hastra, doing anything he can to keep Kel safe, and saying he can't go out the door, and knowing that Kel can just beat him up a second of magic, but he still tries to help him and
still takes his job seriously as a guard. Yeah, the way she writes those minor characters, just little things. Yeah, so good. When I picked up the 3 books to bring them off my shelf so that I had them near me, so I felt more bookish. I opened the first page and I was like, man, the first sentence is my favorite beginning to any book other than In a Hole in the Ground there lived a hobbit. Other than that line, this is my favorite line, and it's so simple and it's so easy, and it's Kel wore a very peculiar coat, and then it has this whole paragraph about Kel's coat, and it's wonderful. It's so good. It had neither one side, which would be conventional, nor 2, which would be unexpected, but several, which was, of course, impossible. It's so good!
One of the bullet points I have on my list is just the coat.
Kel's coat? The coat!
In capital letters, with a lot of exclamation marks.
Let's talk about the coat for a second. It's so cool. I want a coat that I could just take off, switch inside out, put it back on, and it would be a different coat. And just do it again, and see how many coats I had. Yes. You would only ever need 1 coat.
You know what it would be so useful in Wellington, because just suddenly it's pouring down with rain and wind is flashing in your face, and you just switch it around and you got your raincoat on.
And I need a raincoat now, let me just switcheroo.
But you don't want to wear your raincoat all the time because it's sunny, so you just swap it round and you got your a little jacket.
So genius.
And I wouldn't have to walk home drenched all the time because I forgot my coat. Well, my raincoat, I took my actual coat, but I would only need 1 coat, so I wouldn't need to remember any others.
It would save so much time and space and money, and it would just be so convenient. But then, like Kel, I'm pretty sure says, if you put something in the pockets of 1 coat and you forget to take them out while you're swapping coats, who knows when you'll see that again. Never leave your cell phone in a coat pocket, my friends, especially if it's a switcheroo one.
Imagine if you called it, though. Would you be able to hear it? And it's just, somewhere in the depths of your coat, but you can't find it?
And you have to keep, swapping the coats around.
It's every time you got a call, you're just yep, that's my phone. I don't know where it is.
It's probably 50 coats down. We're going to be here a while. Might as well just let it ring. Yeah, but other than that, it would be amazing.
It would. Being magic and having that coat, that's just, the dream.
The dream. Among, other dreams to do with magic.
Of course, yes.
But that is one of them. Okay, so I'm just flipping through the first book, which I actually, just have a quick look, Sophie. I know this is pointless with podcast listeners because this is, once again, audio, not visual. But look at these spines and how not cracked they are. Ooh. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I haven't read these physical books before. So I think I got out A Darker Shade of Magic and A Gathering of Shadows from the library. And then when I realised that I loved them and A Conjuring of Light came out, I bought A Conjuring of Light because I needed to read that and own it. And then I bought the other 2. But because I've only read them once, I haven't actually physically read the first 2 of my copies. So I really do need to reread them, mostly so I can just crack them spines.
Do they all match?
They all match, except for... So I always try to do this, right? Buy matching books in a series, and it stresses me out when I've got so many unmatched series, and it's stressy as... I will take some photos, and we will share that on Instagram. But, so, these ones are the Titan book ones. So they are... I think Titan is a imprint of Tor, because I think all... Victoria Schwab's books are Tor books. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's not the covers that I love, but they are all matching, except for the first 2 have shiny spines. Yeah. And then the third one has a matte spine. Oh. So that's the only difference, the shiny and the matte on just the spines though. How do I unshine a spine? Rub it on the carpet or something?
No.
I don't know.
You'll probably just... It's just the coating, so you'll end up taking the paint off. You don't want to do that. Yeah. Just buy new books.
No, I don't. Just brightening folks. It's alright, because that's the only difference. So the first two are just slightly shiny when the light hits them.
Because I only have Conjuring of Light at the moment, and it's the one you have, that one. And I just really like the other ones, the other copies, the really pretty copies, and...
They're really pretty.
Like, if I get the first two books and the really pretty copies, then I kind of have to get the third one, but I've already got the third one, and...
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if they ever do, like, the prettier covers in, like, a collector's edition or something, maybe I'll just, like, treat myself and have beautiful covers and not actually read them and destroy them and just have these ones to actually read. Books.
I feel like they came out with a really cool collector's edition recently of the first one. That was
You sure it wasn't something else?
No, I feel like it was the first one. I feel like it was like almost like reversed out of the nice covers, like it was black on.
Oh.
But I can't remember. I feel like it was like foiled and stuff, but I don't know. If I remember and I find it, I'll put it in the show notes.
Okay. Great. Any other comments? Other than it's an amazing series and everybody should read it, and I need to reread it. Like, maybe I'll just do that today instead of reading the other books that I have to read.
Yep. Other than the thing that I mentioned in our cute couples episode, if you want to go back, about how I just prefer Kel and Lila as like friends rather than like more than friends. Mm-hmm. And I just really like their relationship, and also like almost all the characters' relationships, like Lila and Alucard and Rye and Kel, all those kind of things, and the development of like the relationship between Kel and the Queen and things like that. And there's just a lot of things about the characters that I really like, and they're just really well written, and the relationships are well written. You just want to be friends with them, but also not friends with them because you don't want to be killed. And
there's a lot of mixed feelings.
Yeah. I feel like with magic books, like adult magic books, there's normally like a lot of fighting, like other than Harry Potter, which you get like the little chapter at the end of each one where they're versing Voldemort, or like the last book, which is probably all fighting. But this has a lot of fighting, but it's enough, not in like loads that I don't like it.
Yes. Yeah, it's not too action-packed.
It's not like you have to read chapter after chapter after chapter of this one going fight thing. Like, it's like, you get a little chapter, then you have some fun, and then you have another little fighting chapter, and you have some fun, and then you have the whole freaking tournament, and... Yeah,
and then you swap your coat round, and you go off and you do something else. And,
Yes. I just like it. I don't know why, but I like it.
I think all the reasons we've listed are why you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. So then the Shades of Magic graphic novel series, which is a recent endeavour by Victoria Schwab. I can't remember who the illustrator is, but they're graphic novels, and they're based around...
I will find you out.
Read that. They're based around the king, so King Maxim Marish, who is Rye's dad, and it's like a backstory of him.
Artist is an Andrea Olimpieri.
Oh, yep.
Olimpieri, and the colorist is Enrica. That's a cool name.
That is a cool name.
Enrica Erin Angolini.
Okay.
God, what all these Italian names?
Yeah.
But we will put that in the show notes because I probably butchered their names.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so that's cool, and it's going to be cool seeing where that story goes, following Maxim back in the day when he was a young prince rather than King of Red London.
Yeah, because in the third book they talk about him being the Steel Prince quite a lot, but they don't really like go into it enough.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like
definitely
why
like,
are you mentioning this? And then you realise that that's coming out, and it's like, I see what you did
She
there.
just like kicked a door open a little bit and just left it there, walked away, did something else, and now she's like, hello, this is what we're doing, welcome to this door.
Like, hey, did you see what I wrote there?
Yeah, did you catch that, readers? Did you get it? This is what's happening now. So we're only like, how many are in there? Like 4 issues?
4, I think.
4 issues, and so we've read the bind-up version. So the thing with graphic novels, though, right? They just take so long to come out. Like, it's a lot of patience.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and it is totally worth it because they're great.
A very small thing.
Yeah, it is very small, and I kind of forget how little detail in terms of words go into them because, you know, an A4 page is very limited with its space.
Yeah.
And everything you say has to be worth it. Like, your words count way more.
Yeah. I don't know if I actually like the style, like the art style.
I don't like the style.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because, like, I felt a little bad saying it, but...
Yeah, I love it how cautious you were, and I was like, I don't actually really like
It's very
style,
dark and angly and...
Yeah, it's very sharp, eh?
Yeah, it's like, this isn't really what I imagined the world to be like.
No. But I wonder, because, like, the only other kind of graphic novel or comic kind of bulk stuff I read was The Runaways last year, and I think I read about 10 bind-up issues. But the illustrator changed quite a lot during that time. Yeah, so even within one bind-up, so I think there were 6 issues in those. Even within that one bind-up of 6, the artist may have changed.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I
That's
don't know,
weird.
like, for this one, if it's going to be keeping the same artist for the whole time, however long this runs for.
I do like how they have different covers for each of the thing, because it took me a while to figure out why there was like why are there like 3 extra covers when you have one on the front. I don't get it. And then I realized that there's like 4 different things in the middle. But yeah, I still don't barely like any of them, but I couldn't do a better job, so go for it, and I will enjoy the story and finally finish it and send it back to you.
Yeah. And the only other thing that I wanted to just briefly mention is, other than the couple of books that she's got coming out, so she's still working on that graphic novel, and then Tunnel of Bones comes out later this year. But then she's got a new series coming out called Threads of Power series, and that is a brand new trilogy, which will be set in the same world as the Shades of Magic, featuring so it's got new lead characters, but the entire cast from Conjuring of Light apparently is going to be in it. And I think I read that on Goodreads, so unsure if that's like legit or if that's
people just want it, so they're going to say it.
Well, people, yeah, exactly. So, but we can cross our fingers and get excited about that. I'm not quite sure. That was kind of most of the information I could find. However, I didn't dig very far. So there may be more information about that out. But I'm excited already about that, which means I really need to reread Shades of Magic.
Yeah, I kind of want to reread it, even though I've only just finished, like, the last book, but I want to read the first one again so I can like live through it all, but I also have too many books, so that's not gonna happen.
Too many books!
That's not gonna happen, but it will at some point.
How many Victoria VE Schwab books have you read? Do you love the Shades of Magic series as much as we do? Let us know by flicking us a tweet at Rants and Reviews or sending us a message on Instagram at Rants and Reviews Pod. Join us next episode as we continue making our way through the Harry Potter alphabet. Until then, happy reading!